There's a brand new MCP, which is an absolute game changer called Context7. Essentially, what this allows you to do is get all the documentation from all the latest APIs. For example, you've got Superbase over here, you've got Next.js, etc. So that when you're coding, it's 10 times better when it comes to coding. You're going to get less hallucinated APIs, less generic answers for old package versions, and also the code examples aren't going to be so outdated versus when you're typically using something like Visual Studio Code to code with the old APIs, which can break a lot, and there's a lot of issues right there, okay? This just gives you better code, better outputs, it's based on the latest data, and also it fetches all the latest up-to-date documentation, right? So if you're coding with AI, then essentially you can pull in the latest API data, the latest documentation, and you don't need to speak to the LLM directly to do that and inform it, right? So for example, stuff like Node.js, this is also available inside Cursor, Windsurf, Claude Desktop, any other pretty much MCP client you can use it, and it's super easy to set up. So we've got the instructions on the GitHub on exactly how to set this up. I've got a full SOP on exactly how to do this step by step and what it means and what the differences are inside the AI Profit boardroom. But essentially, if you want to get this set up, really simple and easy stuff. So you would just go to Klein, like you can see right here, and inside Klein, you can actually install MCP servers like Context7 in one single click. I actually did this really simply and easily this morning. So you can just go to the MCP marketplace. You'll see it at the top there, MCP servers, and then you can click on Context7 and you would just click install, right? This marketplace is actually awesome if you just want to install MCP servers in general, but the Context7 one is going to make the outputs of your code much better because it's using the latest data and workflows, right? For example, like when you're coding, you can ask it, okay, how do I use like the latest Next.js function? If there's like a new update on an API, then that's going to be inside the documentation, as in it's specifically designed to speak to LLMs directly, right? And then if you want to use it and call it inside, for example, like Cursor, inside Visual Studio Code, then you can go back to client over here, click plus in the chat. And then from here, you can say, okay, use the Context7 API and then insert whatever documentation you're trying to pull in, right? So for example, we could say, how do I use the new Next.js after function? Use Context7 to figure that out. It's going to run the MCP server. I would recommend getting that MCP server set up with Anthropic, so Claude 3.7 Sonnet. That just seems to be much better at installing MCPs. I've used Google Gemini in the past as well, which is actually free, but I do think that Claude is much better at setting them up, right? And you can see here how it pulls in the latest libraries using the MCP from Context7. Just makes coding much better. It's much better for developers as well if you're trying to build stuff. And also if you're coding in general, your code is going to break less, you get less errors, and it's going to hallucinate less as well. The other good thing about this is it's documented all the APIs inside Context7, which is great because then it's not going to hallucinate so much. You know it's exactly which APIs can be used, etc. And there is an absolute ton of them. And if you want to get this set up in, for example, like Windsurf, you can just open up the MCP config file, insert that in. It's literally just like a copy and paste sort of method. So you can see here it's pulling in the latest information, and it said, I've received comprehensive documentation about the Next.js after function. Now I need to create a clear, informative response, blah, blah, blah. And then it's told you exactly what it is, how to use it, etc. The other cool thing is it will pull in like GitHub links as well if you need them. And additionally, if we X off this, you can see how easy this was to set up. So literally in one prompt, we just said, set up the MCP server from this GitHub, whilst adhering to the MCP server installation rules. It goes up, figures it out. Client is really good for installing MCPs just because it's got the MCP marketplace and you click like one button to install it. I tend to find that's easier than root code. And then it went off and installed this. Literally took about 5 minutes to get set up. And now you've got all the latest API documentation inside Visual Studio Code. So whenever you're coding stuff out, you can use this to pull in the latest data. If you want all the links to this stuff and everything else, you can get it inside the AI Profit boardroom. But let me walk you through this. So basically, it's empowering your AI agents to be a lot better because instead of relying on a stale training data or scraping outdated documentation, it gets live structured native documentation access, right? So why is this useful? Number one, it's going to give you real-time dev research. So you can prompt the AI to fetch just all the latest information from any API, which means less hallucinations and less outdated information when you're writing the code. Top of that, you're going to automate a lot of the error debugging because you can check the latest documentation from the MCP before making any fixes. This gets auto updated as well with the MCP because Context7 is always getting updated. You can also add your own documentation in there as well inside Visual Studio Code for code to pull in some information. So it's basically going to save you time, prevent the hallucinations, and it's agent compatible. So for example, you could be building like an AI tool and you're helping me build an AI content clustering tool. Use Context7 MCP to check updated usage for LangChain, etc. Only use libraries confirmed as compatible as of 2025. Log any issues and fixes based on the latest documentation, right? So it's just really easy to error handle and avoid hallucinations right there. Now, if you want to edit and set up MCP servers inside something like Windsurf, for example, it's quite easy to do this. So essentially what you would do is you just go to Windsurf, then settings, type in settings over here. Then you're going to type in MCP. And then inside the model context protocol server section here, inside Windsurf settings, we can click on add config server and then edit the MCP config JSON and insert the code from Context7. So if you scroll down on the GitHub page, it's got the code to pull in right here. And then you can see that since we've pasted in the code, which is right here inside the MCP config JSON, it's working nicely right here. And you can see that Windsurf has confirmed it works correctly. And then if we do a test run right here, you can see that it's pulled in the latest data from that and given us the answers right here, along with the documentation. Boom, links actually work. So it should make coding a lot better, a lot less frustrating, and you're basically just getting all the latest up-to-date data. The other cool thing here is it is completely free to use. So this is free for personal use. And also inside, for example, like Visual Studio Code, you can get this set up for free, right? So it's not going to be a smooth installation process, but if you actually get a free API key from Google Gemini, so if we go over to AI Studio, then we're going to click on get an API key, create an API key over here. That is completely free to do. And then you can plug that into Climb over here in the API key section and start using and setting up the Context7 MCP right there as well. It's pretty cool stuff. And then if you ever want to uninstall this, you can go to the MCP section inside Climb, go to the installed section, and then you see where it says Context7. You can switch it off, or you can delete the server, or you can restart it. And you've got all the details about it right there, along with any other MCP servers that you've set up. So pretty cool stuff. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to get my SOP for Context7 as well as Climb, then you can get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. This is a community focused on making more money and saving time with AI. Inside the classroom, it's got all my best automations for AI agents, web automation and scraping, NA10, all my latest SOPs, plus a crash course of how we've actually implemented AI into our business to save time and make more money. Top of that, you can post inside the community right here. And if you've got any questions, feel free to ask. And if you want a free one-to-one SEO strategy session that shows you how we take websites from 0 to 145,000 visits this month and generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales on autopilot, feel free to get on this free link building acceleration session. You'll get a free custom tailored link building game plan to generate more leads, sales, and profits from your website. You'll discover the secrets of SEO link building, and you'll be able to ask any questions you have one-to-one directly on the call, all right? Feel free to get that link in the comments description. This is all based on what's working for our happy clients, like you can see right here. Appreciate you watching. Bye-bye.